So last time we were working on that compulsive shopping app, but there was one thing that I figured out that the other classes asked me to do that we didn't get done in here. So I want to at least show it to you. I'm not going to write the code, but I want to open that up, hopefully. And show you what we did. I'm pretty sure we did this, right, where I demonstrated how to solve this, buy the TV with credit or savings or a combination using nested ifs, and then I gave you the else if version. Sounds familiar? See Ann's nodding, that's usually a good sign. Okay. Did I create this message thing to reduce some of the redundant code? There used to be a message box in every one of these else ifs. Right? Just like this message box down here. And I know I showed you the new and improved message box that has a message and a title bar for the message box and the buttons for the message box and an icon for the message box. And so what I discovered when I was done with the code is this said message box, message box, message box, and it was all the same except for the message. And so to simplify my code a little bit, what I did is created, first of all, a string called message. And then if I discovered that I was going to buy it with cash, I just set the message variable. Set the message variable in each one of these. And then only included one message box. There's always a message box. It's kind of like the if statements that were in my notes where regardless of whether I have a test or not, I'm going to bed. Regardless of what the message is, I'm showing a message box. So to remove a little bit of the redundant code here, I move my message box out of the if statement and I just plug the message variable in here. That does not have to be a variable. It does not have to be a literal, which is what you've been putting in there. It simply has to be a string. You've been putting string literals in. I put in a string variable. And that message changes as we go. Then somebody in that class wasn't happy because remember when we said walk away, we used an error icon instead of an information icon. And I said, so what, information, walk away? And they said, no, we want the arrow. Okay. So now we have to figure out which error icon is it. So the way I decided to solve it, there's a couple of ways to do it, is to create another variable called icon whose type is a message box icon. Any of these things you see when you're picking things off of lists and right-clicking and grabbing things, any of those things are probably types that are built in. So now I have this variable called icon. What's in there? Garbage. And what I could have done and almost did is in every one of these if statements said icon equals information, icon equals information, icon equals information, icon equals error. I decided instead that after I figured out what the message is, I'm going to figure out which icon to use. And I said if the message is walk away. And notice it has to match the capitalization here and the exclamation point and the spaces exactly. And we did talk about how when we compare strings in C#, it's case sensitive. Every one of those characters has an ASCII value and the ASCII values are different. I will show you some techniques as we get a little deeper into the course on how to make these if statements case insensitive so that they'll match even if they're not the same case. I'll show you that technique a little later. So here I said if it's walk away, it's an error icon. Then for everybody else, it's an information icon. Notice in this if statement, for those of you who started to ignore me because I'm rambling on here, this if statement does not have curly brackets. It's the only example I think I've done so far where the if statement doesn't need them, right? Because these are one-liners. As long as there's only one line in the true part and one line in the false part, I don't need curly brackets on my block because it's not really a block. I add the indef to help me remember that this is the end of it. But the curly brackets are optional. Doesn't mean you shouldn't put them in. If If you like them, see Ann's already scowling at it back there. If you don't like them, then don't like it this way, then put them in. I don't mind. Either way. In any case, we still need to indent. Go ahead.
It's asking for a password because it's trying to update.
What are you trying to update?
It's trying to update VMware.
The other thing I didn't think to show you guys because it didn't occur to me till later. Occasionally, C# does a nice job of indenting your code for you. Generally does it right. But occasionally when you paste things, occasionally when you remove things, or occasionally even when you type things, the indentation gets a little wacky. So I've messed up my indentation here. And this is also very common. Toward the end, you'll see curly brackets and there's extra blank lines and they're not spaced and they're not indented right. Now we don't know who belongs to who anymore. C# comes with a feature to fix it. You go to Edit, Advanced, Format. If you do an Edit, Advanced, Format, it'll go through your document and fix all the indentation. Nice. Don't get used to it. It's not in all the editors like this, but it's a very nice feature in C#. My advice to you before you turn it into me, fix it. Because there is on every one of my checklists, the indentation is correct, the indentation is correct. Now there's more advice. Install the spell checker before you submit it, fix it, follow the 6 steps when you build a new project. My goodness. Run it through the evaluation sheet before you send it to me. Rachel's going, yeah, that worked pretty good. Some of you do it, some of you don't. Some it's obvious, some it's not so obvious. Even when you do, I can usually tell there's little subtle things that I miss, or that you miss. So that didn't make the recording, so I wanted to make sure it was in the recording and also wanted to make sure that you see it. The indentation is important. I had one person had the set focus for one of the calculation routines or something was outside or was inside the catch. You don't have to volunteer. Okay? Try not to embarrass you. I'm not even looking at you, Tim. Now it's on the recording. All right. And the clear or the set focus was inside the catch. Because the curly brackets were so messed up, from whatever reason, right, the only time it would change focus is if I made an error, then it would set focus appropriately. And what caught my attention was curly brackets that didn't look right. So then I fixed the curly brackets, and then I realized, oh, look at this. This is inside the catch. It's not supposed to be there. Another mistake I've seen twice, which is not a lot. Of course, I haven't graded a lot of them yet. I'm now getting to your stuff. Another mistake I've seen is the set focus to button clear in both the try and the catch. The try is really an if statement, right? If there's no errors in here, then keep going. If there is an error, then catch it. You don't need it in both places. If you want it in both, put it underneath the catch. Personally, I think the only time I really want to set focus is when I'm successful, not when I have an error. Why set focus? I guess you could set focus to the clear button when there's an error and just say, oh, forget this, I'm just going to start over again. But that's another common mistake. Okay, questions about any of that? The new and improved version of that is on OneDrive. What I'd like you to do now is get some experience with if statements. So what I've created on OneDrive, you'll have to go to OneDrive to get it for all kinds of reasons now. What I've created on OneDrive, where's my mouse? There it is a lab called the If Statement Lab. Man, I hate that thing. Go away. It's in the Labs folder of Programming Logic. So when you get up there, go to Programming Logic, Labs, Unit 5. And the one I want you to do first is the If Statement Lab. Download it, unzip it, and just open it up. There's no document that goes with it. It's just a Visual Studio project. Open it up, go to the code. There'll be comments that tell you what I want you to do. So go ahead and start on that, and we'll see how it goes. I hope to be done by 5 so I can lecture a little bit more and maybe give you a second lab yet today.